Hello, my name is Jeff Rolka. Thank you for checking out my video. This is part of the questions from comments collection of videos. I'm doing these as separate videos by request. If you liked this format, or if you like the old format where I put them all in one video with chapter markers, let me know. I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts on this. This question's a little tough, I have to admit. So let's get into it. Jeff, I've been turning to your warm-up videos for a long time now, and I always depend on them before a rehearsal or a performance. First of all, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope that the videos have served you well, and I hope that they continue to serve you too. But let's continue. But I'm 30 now, and I'm just not the tenor I used to be. I've got this shaky vibrato that I just can't control. And I find that 2 hours of singing will leave me vocally fatigued the next day. My ears are also failing me. I can't hear how pitchy my vibrato makes me sound until a recording is played back for me. I took lessons all throughout college, and I've tried to find a teacher recently. No luck. They're either only equipped to give lessons to beginners, or their schedules are too full for me. People who aren't snobs about music will tell me my voice is lovely, but I know where the weaknesses are, and I've come to hate my voice so much that I'm losing my love for singing. I've started turning down paid singing gigs just because I don't want to hear myself sing or embarrass myself. Do you have any advice or wisdom to impart? Big fan of your videos. Thank you. Well, first of all, I'm really sorry to hear that you're struggling with this. It's terrible, but I don't think that you're alone. There are a variety of different angles that I'm looking at your comment through. And so what I'm going to present to you are a variety of options and thoughts for you to consider. You might investigate each in turn. You might investigate one. Hopefully something will ring a bell and that will ring true to you, and then you can pursue that avenue. But it may be that none of them are quite right, but that in listening to them, it puts you onto a different path still that will see you get some positive results and some positive experiences. Immediately, the first thing that came to mind was whether or not you check nats.org. NATS.org is it's like the National Association of Teachers of Singing. It might be Alliance or Association. I'm not sure which. It doesn't really matter. It's a professional organization that is comprised of people like me. I am a NATS member, and there's a whole code of ethics and blah, blah, blah. But basically, if you look through their teacher finder, you might be able to find someone either in your area or online who can help you. And because all of us as members of NATS have to fulfill certain requirements in order to be members of the organization, you are more likely to get a teacher who can actually help you, as opposed to one who maybe cannot help you as much. You haven't mentioned performance anxiety, but a lot of what you're talking about sounds a lot like performance anxiety. Although, typically, speaking for myself, my performance anxiety manifests as me thinking I know what other people are thinking. So if I walk on stage, I generally think, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. No one wants to hear you sing. No one wants to hear what you have to say. No one wants to fill in the blank. And I call that voice the saboteur. That helped me come to grips with it, at least a little bit. I still have to deal with it, but I know it for what it is, and it helps me to go through. Usually after the first couple of songs, I start to feel a lot better. So it helps me get out there and get going, and then eventually start to enjoy the aspect of performance. But I don't know whether or not you've investigated performance anxiety for yourself. If you haven't, there are many, many resources online, far more than I could list in a single video. Each of them comes at the notion of performance anxiety from a different angle. Some of the resources over the years that I've used, Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, Zen in the Art of Tennis, to name a couple off the top of my head. I'm currently working through ACT for Musicians. I do not feel like I can recommend it at this particular time. And besides that, it's awfully expensive to get the book. So maybe wait and stay tuned on that one. But you might just start by doing a search for performance anxiety for musicians and see what you find. See if anything that in there rings true to you. And then kind of follow down that path. Now, I must admit, I'm a little bit nervous about bringing this next subject up, but that's my gig, so here we go. You're saying that you're 30. Well, a tenor at the age of 30 is only just developing. You, in theory, would still have another decade and a half, really, to sort of peak in your career. Now, I don't know what exactly music you're singing here, but by the way that you are describing things, there's a thing that happens to tenors at around the age 30, which is that up until that point, you can frequently get away with belting out high notes. But beyond that, it becomes less feasible. And if you haven't learned good registration event technique, it will start to show. And the way that you're talking about your vibrato and pitchiness all suggests to me that you haven't been doing registration events at all, or in only a limited capacity. And what do I mean by that? Tenor vocalists will have a registration event somewhere in this area of their voices. And how you sing over that registration event will have a very dramatic impact on the quality of your voice. If you make a good registration event, where you are transitioning into your head voice and then back out of it, that can get you to have the stability and the tone quality and a reasonable vibrato and all that kind of stuff in the upper register of your voice. If you're not making a registration event, and let me be clear, when I sing those examples, I'm starting in my chest voice, I'm going into my head voice, and then I'm coming back out. Chest, head, chest, head, chest. That's what is happening. But we practice it so it becomes seamless, and the casual listener doesn't hear a registration event. That's the gig. If you haven't been doing that, you've only been doing it some of the times, then a lot of what you're describing could very well be because of that. And if you can find a good teacher on Nats, they can help you figure that out and learn to do it and learn to get it so that you get that nice seamless transition. And if you can't find someone on Nats, you can always get in touch with me via my website. I don't normally throw that out there because it feels a bit like self-promotion, but I do lessons all the time. And working on the registration event is something that I do every day in just about every lesson. And I've learned to do it myself, and I help people do it all the time. But to round this out, I'm really sorry that you're struggling right now. You have a lot of time left in your career, decades, in fact. I hope that you will get through what I see as a rough patch and keep on making music so that those people around you can enjoy what sounds like has been a lovely career thus far. I do hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if you have any follow-up questions or what I might address. And until next time, take really good care of your voices, enjoy singing, and hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.